Hi, so in this video I wanted to share my thoughts on this new note-taking app that I recently discovered, which is called Trilium. And it's pretty interesting because this is a kind of app that I would think that a lot of people would know about, but it doesn't seem to be very widely known. At least I didn't know it up until recently. And it was kind of very surprising to me to learn about it, that it has such a rich feature set and a lot of like interesting kind of things that are implemented in it that I did see in like any of the other note-taking apps so far. So I wanted to kind of share my thoughts on it in this video. Basically, yeah, it's not gonna be like a complete tutorial on this app. It's more that what I have tried and kind of the tweaks that I made to the app and like the features that I found interesting. That's what I'm gonna talk about here. So let me just quickly run through the installation process, which is very simple. You just go to the releases over here on GitHub and find the latest release, and then look for the version specific like to your operating system. I'm on Linux, so there's like two versions for Linux. One for the server, and the other one is for just like a desktop installation. So it's nice that you can install Trilium to run on a web server. Basically, you can set it up such that you can like access it potentially from anywhere over the internet, which is a great feature. I haven't looked into that yet myself, but it's nice to have that as a possibility. I can totally see how it can be very useful. But for this video, I'm gonna only talk about the desktop version. So let's download this file and save it. So it's downloading over here to my home directory, and let's see, almost done. So I'm gonna create a temporary directory so that I don't create a mess here for myself. So I'll just call it Trilium-test, and then I'm gonna move the Trilium archive that I just downloaded there, and I'm gonna change directory to there as well. And now I have this archive into this empty directory, and I can use the tar command to extract this. So dash X stands for extract, then V for verbose, so that we can see what it's doing as it is extracting, and then F for file, and then just pass the file name, press enter, and then it will extract everything. So as you can see, it has a subdirectory there, Trilium Linux x64. And in there we have this Trilium binary, and like this one, and this is what we need to launch, to run the app. But basically yeah, like you need to make it accessible on your path. If you don't know what that means, kind of just Google something like how to set up path variable on Linux, and you'll find a ton of guidance on that. So that's pretty simple, but I'll just assume that you're familiar with that for this video, and or otherwise just kind of, yeah, do a quick Google search and you'll figure it out. It's pretty easy. What I did is I have this like this opt directory for these kinds of situations here in my home directory. So I just do things this way here. I have this bin directory where I put all of where I basically symlink all the binaries from different software that I download. So like Firefox, like when I download Firefox, I just extract it here, put it into the folder called Firefox, and then I link the binary into the symlink the binary to the bin directory. It's pretty kind of standard Linux stuff. Basically what I did is let's see, Trilium, what did I do there? Yeah, I just put that, basically I just extracted this archive into user opt Trilium, and then I went into my bin directory, and then I ran ln for link, and -s, you can say v to see, like for verbose, and then I just went one directory down to Trilium, Trilium Linux x64, Trilium, and then if I pressed enter, that would create a symlink, but I already have it there because it already exists, but that's what it is. So like if I do the long listing, you can see that the symlink is linked there. So that's kind of what I would suggest for these kinds of situations, how to set things up so that everything is kind of nice and tucked away into and kind of has its dedicated place on your system. So I would set up something like this. That's how I did it. So this is installation, pretty simple. So now, yeah, now let's take a look at the app itself. So for this video, I basically reset yeah. So I just pressed. Sorry, I'm making a mess here, but basically for this video, I deleted everything that I had in my Trilium installation up until this point, and I'm just gonna start fresh so that I can show what it looks like when you first launch it. So since I set everything up and I use Awesome Window Manager, I can just press Super R and I can put Trilium in my run prompt, and since it's on the path, it'll be able to find it, and then I can just press enter, and the app launches. And then when you launch it, the first thing that you get is this menu with 3 options, which is basically asking you what you want, what kind of installation you want to what you want to do with this app. So like let's take a look. You can create a new Trilium document for my notes. So look, if you want to just use it locally on your desktop, that's the option that you choose. But like the other 2 are for like situations where you need to sync, like one with the server and another with another desktop instance. I'm not sure how it works with another desktop instance, but like with the server, I guess you'll connect to your web server that you set up ahead of time, and then you can sync all the nodes to this installation. But like I said, we're going to be just looking at the desktop version for this video, so that's what I'm going to choose, and I'll click next, and here we go. This is what you get when you first launch the app. It has this demo set of documents to kind of illustrate what it can do, and it can do quite a lot. So let's take a look. Let me see. So the all the nodes are organized in this hierarchical tree over here. You can, like when it comes to formatting, it's kind of like sort of similar to Markdown in some respects. You can like use bold, like you can just type like as I just did, like 2 asterisks for bold, like 1 asterisk for italic, enclose it, and then it will convert the text automatically. as you do it. So that's kind of the formatting stuff. You can do like headings. Yeah, like I set up in options so you can I'm laughing because I'm starting to ramble and like be all over the place, but basically for headings you can select like a few options over here, and if you go to this menu and options and go to text notes, you can select here like different styles of heading. Like I prefer markdown style. I haven't actually tested these other two, so I'm not really sure how they work, but with markdown style I can just use like starting with two number signs, and then I can put in my heading and then another heading, etc. So that kind of that's how headings work. So yeah, like the formatting is pretty straightforward. You can also just like select something and then you'll get this pop-up where you can see all the different formatting options, like all kinds of things here. Pretty standard stuff. So I don't know, like if there's I guess like one thing that is kind of somewhat kind of worth noting, I guess, that you can select like color for the text and then for the what do they call it, like highlight or background for that text. So you can basically do a lot of like custom highlighting and use different colors, which is not kind of that like not all note apps have that. So like I'm thinking of like Joplin as one app that I tried using and kind of stopped using eventually, and like that's like an open source one. I also used to, when I was on a Mac, I used like Apple's Notes, and that is like terrible. But I don't know, like basically there's a lot of options here. That's my point. Remove formatting. What was that? Internal link. Yeah, that's good that I stumbled into that, because that gives me an idea about what talk about next. Basically, the great thing about this app is that it essentially works like a personal wiki. You can make it into that, so you can link nodes together and refer to that, to like make internal links to nodes within Trilium. So for example, like let's say, I don't know, what do they have here, like whatever, maybe I wanted to make a link here over like that grocery list for today. Like I can just say, like, put some text here like grocery list and select it, and then press, I think it's Control L, yeah, for internal link, and it already like tries to guess for you like what node you might want to link it to, and then it already popped up, so I can just click it and add that link, and then it becomes basically a link to that node, and it jumps right to it when I click it. To go back, you can press Alt Left, which is a standard kind of browser shortcut for back, and Alt Right is for forward. So that's kind of very intuitive. So of course you can create external links as well, and they are marked with this like little arrow over here. So yeah. So about like personal wiki software, I used to use this Zim wiki, if I can remember the website, and it's a pretty good personal wiki software, but it's kind of like, I would say it's pretty limited, and it's kind of yeah, like I had some trouble with formatting and stuff. Like at some point they like they updated it the last time I tried it, and they added like the ability to make text, like for example bold and italic together. Like it used to be just like either bold or italic, or so basically it was kind of like this limited number of formatting options. And then also like it formats paragraphs in this weird way, because like usually kind of you're not supposed to have an empty line after a paragraph. You should just have like it should be like this, like they do it over here. It just like you press enter and then you can have a new paragraph, or if you want a line break, you like press shift enter and then you have a line break, but you stay within the same paragraph. But ZimWiki doesn't distinguish between the two. It's just like if you want a new paragraph, you just make like 2 empty lines, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of formatting like in the first place, because like if you have formatting, then paragraphs should be just like separate blocks and not be simulated with an empty line as you do in like in a plain text file, for example. So like that's kind of some stuff that I tried with other apps, and that's why also like I like what Trilium has to offer. So let's see. So I talked about the wiki type stuff, internal links, so that's pretty useful. Let's see. So you can also like choose a ton out of this big collection of icons here. So you can choose an icon for each particular note that you write. And like if you make a note and let's say like and you want it to be like a folder over here, so let's call it like, I don't know, category or something, and then I want to have like several notes inside it. So when I add more notes within it, it automatically changes the icon to the folder one, but you can always change it to whatever you want, but that's just kind of something that it does. So yeah, let me delete that. You can also like delete notes permanently, or you can kind of delete them, but they can still be restored within a certain amount of time. Stuff like that. So yeah, another cool thing that this app does, and this is kind of this kind of a nice visual way of looking at your note collection. They have this note map here, and you can basically, this is really cool. You can, let me close this. So it basically it shows it has like 2 variations of this note map. It has a tree map and a link map. So this is, we're looking at that link map right now. So it shows the links between the nodes. So right now we can see which nodes are linked to what. Like for example, I just made this link to grocery list, and here it is. You can like drag it around, and then it'll do like all this sort of respond to your gestures and stuff like that. So that's kind of pretty neat. You can kind of visually think, like you can take a big picture look at all of your notes at once. Sometimes it can be pretty handy if you're working on something and you need to just like zoom out. It helps to think sometimes, I find. So this is the link map, and then the tree map. This is kind of even more visually interesting, I think. I mean, yeah, I mean at least in this case. So basically, you can see clearly how this tree, what this tree consists of, and then you can like see it all in its entirety at a glance. So yeah, and it kind of does similar things as the link map. So yeah, and you can click anything here, and then it'll go to that node. So this is a pretty neat feature. Like, yeah, it's good that it's just built into the app and you can just use it straight away. Definitely a useful thing to have. So You can also draw here, so it has this canvas feature. It does kind of have like a few, I would say, like little issues with it, because like for example, you could, like if you click on this question mark here, it shows up a bunch of shortcuts, but some of them actually don't work. Like for example, this, where was it? Like grid, enable grid. It was like G something or oh yeah, no, it wasn't. It was control single quote. So like if I press control single quote, nothing happens. And then there's this also kind of this mysterious Zen mode which says Alt Z. Again, nothing changes when I do that. But I saw that they have like open issues on that on GitHub, so I guess maybe that's something that's gonna be fixed in the future. It's still nice to be able to just like make a drawing and like a quick sketch of something. Can definitely come in handy. It would be nice that if they kind of made it more like I would personally like to have a grid, because like if I want to like draw something more or less precisely, it would be very helpful. Yeah, and also like you only have like 3 thicknesses, which is kind of, you know, somewhat limited, but yeah, it's still a good kind of I like the spirit of this app, because it has like all these like neat features that I can see how like each one of them can come in handy in certain situations, and it's nice to have it all put together in one app. They have like diagrams that you can create, which is really neat. I haven't looked into those actually myself yet, but you can do that. As you can see here, there's some examples. You just write some code and you get those diagrams. So let's see, what else can I talk about here? Yeah, journaling. So you can basically when you press here, click like new note, you can define where your journal like tree, like you don't have to use this obviously this like default one that it comes with, but you can select your own folder, and you can like I think even format how these subfolders will be named, or like subnotes. And when you click the new note, it creates a new note under today's date, and you can just like start taking notes here for that are relevant for this particular day. It can be very useful. So like more on formatting, you can do tables, lists, yeah, code blocks. You can even just like have whole notes basically be like kind of like, yeah, essentially scripts or like code. So like if you're a programmer, that it can be useful to just like save some code snippets or take notes on code, and if you're learning something, for example, and stuff like that. You can do math equations here, pretty neat. So they kind of thought about a lot of kind of different applications that the users might be interested in, and they kind of they put it they built it into the app, which I really like this approach, because kind of it's like I think that it's better to have a feature and sort of like and see that, know that like, yeah, I might need to use that at some point. Like for example, I'm not like math, I don't use that, like I haven't really used it at all, to be honest, like in my notes or anything like that, but I can see that like at some point it might come in handy, and so like it's nice that it's available there. And definitely like other people might use that all the time, so it makes sense to have these like broad selection of features. You can yeah, to have it available in an app like this, really important, I think. So yeah, here is some code examples. So you can basically write code here and keep your notes on code or code snippets, like I said, stuff like this. Scripting examples. Yeah, you can also, I think, like customize the app itself by writing code within it or something like that. I think people like made, yeah, let me actually take a look here. There was this page that is good to know about. I think it's this one, Awesome Trilium. Doesn't have anything to do with the Awesome Window Manager, but it's just like a collection of different like extensions that people wrote for Trilium. So I'll share this link in the description too. Basically, yeah, like you can do themes. Like one thing that I did for my installation is like I made my own theme. I'll actually let me just pause this recording for a second and get it, and then I'll show it to you. So I got my theme file, but first I wanted to mention something before I explain what I did in my theme, because it's kind of related to how things are set up in the default layout. So for example, so this node highlighting has backlinks, which means that there's some node that is linking to this node. So there is some node that links to this highlighting node. And we can see what it is by clicking here. And it says one backlink. And we can see that in the Trilium demo node, there is a link to highlighting, and it shows it here. So you can go there and you can see that it's here, highlighting. So this is nice, but it also covers the text, which I can't really live with. So I fixed that in my theme. You can like close it temporarily, but then if you like reopen the node, it just reappears. So this is kind of like not very good. Doesn't really work for me. So I made some changes. So basically, you can create your own theme. Let's see how you do it. You need to create a node within Trilium, and then put your code in here. Let me actually just find again, sorry for like being all over the place, but if you go to the GitHub page, there's a wiki that contains all the documentation on Trilium. And in here, if I just search for theme, I'm sure that I'll find it. Yeah, themes. So there's this section here, custom CSS themes, and it says what you need to do. You need to create a CSS code node and annotate it with this thing. So let me just do that real quick. So I called my theme black because I like to have just like a plain black background, so that it's kind of as easy on the eyes as possible in terms of how much light comes off of the monitor when I look at it. So then you need to do this to add this label. Like the labeling feature, I'm not gonna go into it because I haven't really looked into it myself very deeply yet, but it's kind of you can do a lot of like sophisticated stuff with it. You can read about it on this wiki. That would be the best way to go, I think. But for now, we can just go to this like owned attributes section here and just paste it over here, and you can call it something like black, for example. So here's my theme. It's kind of a bit of a mess because I was trying out different things, but yeah, I mean, it works right now for the current version. I'm going to share this code and like yeah, but I can't really, like it's just kind of something that I put together myself. Let me first change the node type to CSS. There we go, and now it will show up correctly. So so yeah, this is just something that I put together for myself, and yeah, as you can see, like there's like stuff commented out here, and yeah, I'm kind of that's its current state. I'm gonna share this code in case you want to like use it, but yeah, that's just provided as is kind of thing. So once you did this, once you created this this node for your theme, you can go to options, appearance, and you'll have this theme over here. And so here's my theme. So let me show you now what I did with that backlinks thing. Where was that? Like it was formatting examples, highlighting. So just like as a side note, this sidebar keeps popping up, but you can change it here in options somewhere. Yeah, you can disable basically what kind of highlights you want to displayed in the right panel. I actually did yeah, disabled everything, I think. Like definitely not bold, italic, and underlined, but I'll just disable it for now so that it doesn't distract us. But basically you can customize it in here. Highlighting. Okay, so basically now I moved this backlink thing that was covering the text. I moved it over here to this top panel, and now it's kind of out of the way. Yeah, like I also changed the fonts and basically made everything look like I prefer it. But yeah, you can do a lot of things with this CSS customization. It's not really that difficult. You can like set up your fonts. They have a template here. This is basically the template that I used. And then you can use you can open the developer tools, which you do by pressing Ctrl+Shift+I, and then you can just press here to select elements, and then you can figure out the CSS for it, and you can create your own theme. I mean, I'm not going to explain how to do it, obviously, because that's kind of a topic of its own, but it's not that difficult. Yeah, and you can customize the entire interface to your liking. They do say that the selectors, like CSS selectors, might change in future versions, but basically like these variables, I think they'll probably keep them the same. I mean, at least they're like probably, unless they have like some major update, but these are meant to kind of tweak the main parameters of the theme, and you can just, you know, change a lot of things by just tweaking that. So yeah, and it's all of these variables. So you can change the colors and like border thicknesses and all kinds of things like that, or not thicknesses but like radiuses. Yeah, it's mostly colors and fonts and font sizes. Yeah. One useful thing to know about when you create a custom theme is that you might not like having it here, like amongst your notes, kind of just sitting there all the time. So if that's the case, you can archive it. And here, like in this menu, there's a tick box that says hide archived notes. So let me first. So like to archive a note, you go to here to own the attributes, and you set an attribute that's called archived. So now it's archived, and as you can see, the color has changed. Now it's sort of like this washed out color, and if I tick this box, now it's hidden. Like when this happens right now, like there's this whole separate tree open. Sometimes this happens, I don't know why, but like if you press F5 and like click away from that tree and press F5, it will disappear. Yeah, or F5 or Control R, that refreshes the interface, which is, by the way, like a useful thing to know when you create a theme, because when you like edit the CSS node, you need to refresh the interface for the changes to take effect. So yeah, F5 or Control R does that. You might also like choose to, like, you can create a folder here that says like, I just I have a folder called Trilium simply, and then you can put your themes in there, and you can archive that instead. Archived. Then archived. Let me see. So if I remove this now, let's see what happens. Hide. Yeah, it looks like it hides the entire tree anyways. So like, yeah. So you can just like archive a folder like that. Like it still has this like inheritable flag here, which I guess is not necessary if you want to hide it, but maybe it makes sense to tick it anyways. Maybe it has an effect on something else, I'm not sure. But yeah, then it appears like an inherited attribute as archived. But in any case, like this is how you can hide your themes, and maybe like there's like, you can also add like pieces of code that modify how Trilium works, which I haven't looked into myself yet, but it's possible. They mentioned it on their GitHub, and so you can put those here as well, and this way you don't have to look at them all the time. And yeah, so this is kind of cleaner, gives you a cleaner interface. So yeah, this is kind of how you can customize it. There's also, oh yeah, like there's also a really kind of good feature that I like, that they have just built in. You can encrypt your nodes. So let's try encrypting something. Let's say like this journal, maybe there's some private stuff in here and I want to encrypt it. So you can go here and then you can say protect this node, but then you get this thing that where it says that the password wasn't set yet. Like you can go to options like to set it, or you can just click here where it says click to enter protected session. Yeah, it leads you to the same place, but whatever, you can just like set a password over here. And now you can protect your node, which will encrypt it. So, and if I now click here, which like right now it says protected session is active, click to leave protected session. So if I leave it, you can see that this node is protected, and it will show up as protected, but no one will be able to read it because it's encrypted. So if you want to also protect all the nodes that are subnodes of this node, of your protected node, you can right click here and you can say protect subtree, and then all of the subnodes will be also encrypted. So I believe it should also even like, let's create some new node under that subtree, and let's see, yeah, it also gets encrypted. So once you select that this option in the menu, protect subtree, then the entire subtree, including the new nodes, also get encrypted. So this is pretty neat. Another feature that is worth mentioning is that is versioning. So it automatically saves like versions of the nodes like at regular intervals, and you can customize it. Let's see. Right, yeah. So node revision snapshot interval. So by default it's 600 seconds, which is 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes it checks if the node was changed, and if it was, it creates like a snapshot. I personally set it to just like a really high number, because I don't want it to like create a ton of snapshots of stuff that I don't really need snapshots for. But you know, it's personal preference. Someone might prefer to have that on, in which case like all the snapshots will appear over here. I just prefer to have it like manually available, which it is if you just set it to a very high number, essentially disabling this automatic snapshot, automatic taking of snapshots. But you can now just go to this menu here and click Save Revision, and it will create a snapshot of like the state of the node that you're interested in saving actually. And then you can like make some changes here, and if you decide that no, I don't want that, maybe you want to like still save it in case you want to come back to it, but you want to revert to the previous one. So now this is the current one that I saved, and so now I can just say restore this revision, and then click OK, and it restores that revision. And it also creates a snapshot. Oh, like, yeah, okay, it automatically creates a snapshot for when you restore a revision. So you actually don't need this, delete this revision. But yeah, this is pretty neat too. So it has like a lot of really useful features that it's the kind of thing that like you think that like when you do come across a situation when you need it, you think like, oh, it'd be nice if it was there. And like in Trilium, a lot of these things are there, which is fantastic. So let me see. Essentially, I think I talked about most of the things that that I liked about this app. Like I said, it's just like my thoughts and kind of overview of it. But hopefully, I covered some kind of important points that you might find useful. Helpful to know about. So something just occurred to me. We came across these labels, and I said that I'm not going to go into too deeply. But now that we talked about revisions, I just wanted to mention one thing: that there's a label that you can set. You can basically disable versioning only for certain nodes, but not for everything. So like what I just did, it just kind of disables it for everything. But if you use this disable versioning label, like for example, yeah, like whatever, this node, for example, you can go to here and just kind of start typing disable versioning, pops up here, and then this disables versioning for this particular node, but you can also make it inheritable, which means that like the entire subtree will inherit it. And now oh, I didn't save it. Okay. And now it pops up here in inherited attributes for all the sub nodes there. So you can, this way you can disable versioning or like snapshots on a certain part of your notes collection, but not everywhere. Maybe somewhere you need it to take like snapshots automatically all the time, so you can do that too. But kind of basically, if you want to explore Trilium further, a good place to start is this wiki page on their GitHub. You simply go to their GitHub and just click wiki over here, and it contains all the documentation, very detailed, a lot of explanation. So you can just search here for what interests you, or otherwise you can just like Google it, and chances are you like will either get referred to this wiki or maybe somewhere else on the internet where someone was already customizing some part of Trilium, and then you can look at that and figure out what it is that you need to do. And again, like this awesome Trilium repo also has a lot of stuff. I only kind of looked into themes here at this point, but apparently you can like create actual scripts that will run within Trilium and will like customize how the app itself works. But I haven't looked into that yet, but it seems to be available there as well. So yeah, this is Trilium. Basically, I think I'm gonna be wrapping up this video here. Like overall, like a really like an amazing app, has like a lot of applications. I don't know, like journaling, just like general note taking, creative writing, you know, like if you're studying and like you can take notes in Trilium, and then you can link everything together and have a very highly customizable setup for your notes, where you can organize everything the way that makes sense to you, and you can use all of these neat features like note maps and stuff to help you visualize what you have here in your knowledge collection, and like it might help you make sense of it this way as well. So yeah, this is basically it. This is where I'm gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.